to take a few minutes today just to talk about being out and proud in the workplace. Just in making this video, there was a momentous decision yesterday at the Supreme Court passing the legislation that LGBTQ plus are protected under the Civil Rights Act from the 60s, and so no one can fire us at work anymore for being gay.
Yay!
All of the people that I work with have been allies from the start. Everyone's always been wonderful, even the customers, and I talk about Lisa all the time. I just mentioned my wife like anyone else would mention their wife. And every single contact point where I've had a discussion around being gay at SAP, it's always been extremely supportive.
I know I've never seen this before though, right? At any company, and I've been out since 1994. Numbers say that 48 to 50% of LGBTQ plus folk are still, not comfortable coming out at work. And so if there's anyone out there at SAP in various countries that you feel like you need support, I know I can speak on behalf of Cindy and I that we're here for you.
Yeah, please feel free to reach out, because until you are bringing your full authentic self to work, you can't be your best self, you can't be the happiest person you can be, and we're here to tell you that SAP is a safe space for that, and it would behoove us all for you to come out and be the most productive, wonderful, all-encompassing part of you that you can be.
In the beautifully colorful spectrum of LGBTQ, I identify as a gay man. I wasn't always comfortable with being gay, as I knew very early on that something was different about me, and I was raised during the era, unfortunately, of the hate crimes of the 90s against folks like Brandon Teena and most notably Matthew Shepard, who basically was strung up like a scarecrow the day before my birthday, no less, and then unfortunately died the day after. That was a lot for an 18-year-old to process just as he was about to go out into the big bad world. When I joined SAP, I had some doubts in starting my career here. It was quickly turned around with nothing but positive accolades from folks, people who are really willing to just get to know me, and I was out and proud and did not care who knew. And those folks resonated with that. They understood right away, and they thought nothing further of it from that point on. It was never Kevin the gay guy, it was just simply Kevin, and that was a breath of fresh air in a workplace like SAP Ariba. I'm also very proud that during these challenging times that the Supreme Court has voted in favor to protect LGBTQ workers on a federal level. I'm proud of SAP for standing up and supporting a broad range of diversity and continuing to demonstrate the freedom to hold Pride at SAP chapter meetings, as well as organize Pride-based events to continue the spread of awareness and ultimately to let others know that they are absolutely not alone out there. Be proud of who you are, never let anyone snuff out your light, and keep that light burning to show the way for others.
When I think about a defining moment for me with being an ally, it really was when my best friend came out to me junior year of college. It was the middle of Pride Week. A group of us were hanging out in the student union, all talking and chatting, and a question came up, and he didn't really know how to answer it, and he kind of froze. And we were all talking about dating and just different things that college kids are always talking about. He didn't necessarily respond by saying, "I'm gay," but he looked at me after he did respond, and I looked at him and I told him I understood, and conversation just kept buzzing around us. Nobody else stopped, nobody else really understood what had just happened, and that was really a huge moment for our friendship. This is a person who to me is truly a soulmate and one of my best friends in the world. And when I think about being an ally, I think about the importance that he has in my life as a friend, as someone who always has my back, and just being able to be a safe person for him. And being an ally is really about his human rights and the right to love who you love. Period. So for me, a little piece of advice that I have for other allies is educate yourself and remember it's a practice. Be open to those conversations when you're going to be corrected, and have somebody help you to keep learning and just keep doing what you're doing.
I am queer and non-binary. I suppose working at SAP has allowed me to fully come out in all aspects of my life. I was pretty much out to all my friends and family for a while, and for a long time in the work environment was just uncomfortable with making that final step and working at SAP and having such a supportive community allowed me to finally come out and be myself. I guess my advice, if you are in a situation where you're trying to decide whether or not to come out at SAP, is to just do it. The environment's very friendly. If you need like a cheerleader or some moral support, feel free to say hello to me, and especially if you're trans or non-binary or gender non-conforming or anything like that, I can certainly be a cheerleader and help you through it.
I am an ally to the LGBTQ community because I can relate to some of the stuff that they go through on a daily basis. Being an African lady from a tiny country in West Africa called Gambia, and also practicing Islam, most of the time it's really, really hard on me. Most of the time I don't even want people to know that I practice Islam, just because of the negative portrayal they put on that religion. I don't want to be a target for anyone. I don't want people to hate me just because of the religion that I choose to worship. And also being black too, sometimes I don't even want people to know that I'm from Africa. So most of the time I will just tell them that I'm from the Caribbean, thinking that maybe if I say that, I will not be judged or I will not be stereotyped. One thing I like about SAP is how diverse they are, but I believe that there is still room for improvement. I hope that we will have more underrepresented minorities in leadership despite of our skin color, our sexual orientation, our gender, or the religion that we choose to worship.
So my coming out story is a little complicated. Growing up, I felt like I was supposed to be either straight or gay. Even though, I always kind of knew I could read and see that there was a B in LGBTQA, didn't always feel like that B really was actually there, that it was really taken seriously. There were a lot of misunderstandings and misrepresentations about bisexuality and pansexuality, which is closely related. So it took me a long time to find this community where now I feel most at home. There's this concept out there that bi people must all be equally attracted to men and to women, but honestly that's not really the case. Many bi people, including myself, may actually be more strongly attracted to one group more so than to another group. And sometimes we experience what we call a bi cycle, which is where the strength of those attractions to one group versus another group may shift or alter over time. But just because the bi-cycle can happen doesn't mean that everybody experiences the bi-cycle. And for people where it does happen for them, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're looking to date more than one person at a time. Note to Beyonce and to Chris Evans, first come, first serve. It took me a long time to understand and embrace my own orientation. That's why I'm so happy to work in the inclusive nature at SAP, where I feel comfortable and free to be me all day, every day. I work with really sincere and curious people who want to learn more about me and to spread awareness and acceptance of bisexuality and of my community, both in the workplace and the world. So thanks, SAP.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride Month. Bye.